Okay, so I want to talk briefly about the cultural milieu and this is a really important section because we're really moving from, we were trying to, we rhetoricians were trying to understand how to form arguments and how to form arguments successfully. So we're talking Greek rhetoric. And then from there, rhetoricians shifted to style for a number of reasons. So style and delivery became the focus, and then as we come out of that into the Enlightenment era and science starts taking over, scientists are really pushing the idea that science is the foundation of everything, and that the only thing language does is provide or serve as a tool for communicating science. Like, that is the goal and the role and the function of language, is just to communicate. That's all it is. But rhetoricians are like, but that's not the case. I mean, when we say or when we use words that have multiple meanings or that have emotional responses, we're already into cultural communication. Not just fact, not just logic, not just, these big T truths that science is trying to lean into. We're really communicating a lot about who are we as a people that we're asking those kinds of questions. Who are we as a society that we're investigating that particular thing, or who are we as a society that we want to communicate that thing in that way. And so all of that's very cultural, and that's what rhetoricians are really pointing to, is that we think through language. Language is not just the tool, it's not just the package to say, here's the package, and now we're going to send it forward. So here, I'll grab my coffee cup. This is just a package, right? But it's not, this is doing so much more work. Yetis were popular for a while. I have mine monogrammed. It's my coffee mug. It's keeping it hot for a certain period of time. There's a lot that's being communicated culturally. These are not that cheap either, so let's throw that in there. There's a lot being communicated culturally because this is the mug that I'm carrying as my coffee vessel. It's not just a tool, it's doing more work than that. And that's what rhetoricians are getting at, and that's the point of the cultural milieu. So I know that it's a really short section, but it's a really, really, really important point to understand that language, we're finally to the point in understanding our brains and how our brains work, where we're like, language is not just a tool, it's underlying everything that we're doing. We think in language, we talk to ourselves in language. We use language to communicate cultural things. We read culture onto the symbols that are surrounding us so that when we have a conversation with somebody or some sort of a communicative act, if it's digital like this video is, we get more cultural information, and we can get more community, we can get more identity, and we can understand better because we can situate. And this is the first moment where we do that, where we're like, okay, science, great, but you're asking that question for a reason, and it's probably really cultural. And by probably, I mean it's cultural because it's what you know and it's what's valued right now, which means language is not the vessel. Language was how you arrived at that question, which means it's all rhetoric.